My name is Harold R. Davis. Just Harold Davis. I'm Central City Bag, and Joe. I met Joe couple years ago, and him and I was talking about disposing of some properties because everyone's getting a little older, and when you have the properties kept up perfect and everything, Joe contacted me and we got together and had a fantastic relationship from beginning to the end, and it's not the end yet. I'm not ending it. I got some more deals I want to help you with. But if I can go ahead and talk, unless you want to ask me questions or anything, I'm going to say I wrote up a little sketch here, and Joe come to me, and we had some properties down in the Milk District of Orlando, and he said he knew I had some property down there. So he said, well, did you ever think about selling it? And I said, well, I have and I haven't. And I said, anyway, we got back together after that for a while, and I started thinking about it. And then all of a sudden Joe he said, if you think about selling, I've got someone interested in it. And most people you'd say, well, don't. They might just be saying that just to list it. But actually, he kept someone interested in it, sometimes two at a time. And he had the buyers. And he knew the banking people. He knew what it's going to take to get what he could sell. And there's not going to be any problems with the properties. And he not only represents me as the seller, he also represents the buyers also, and does a perfect job for both of us, both sides. And we would meet together, usually at that little restaurant next to the bicycle shop. And he had contracts all the time, A lot of times the things that we had run into was a lot of times the buyers couldn't qualify for their loans like they wanted, and they had problems like that, which was understandable. They wanted to get the best thing they could so they get a return on their money, and they had to borrow the money and pay good. Also, Joe takes care of all the showing for the surveys of the properties to the everyone involved in the properties for environmental, any type of the paperwork that's involved. He knew exactly how to handle it, and he told everybody on each side, or each party, how it was going to be handled, and when it was handled, and what was the outcome. He always kept you informed, both parties, which is great. And I'd have to say this: it was a wonderful experience. I've never had that experience before. I've always been on the buying part, and I never had an experience that went that smooth. And the guy's a wonderful fella to deal with, very honest. And if he sees something that you're not aware of, it is mentioned. And I appreciate that, Joe, as a whole. You don't see that today a lot of times. Also, Joe is very aware of all the properties in the Central Florida area, especially certain areas that he was interested in. And he knows all about it. He'll tell you, said you need to get this amount of money out of it. And also probably, I'm sure he'd tell the buyer, this is a good investment for you. Let's just see how the banks or how you're going to pay for it, like that. He knows his property value. He knows the problems in the area. He sells the area. He sells the whole program. Also, he will mention to you as a seller the returns of when you sell it, what you can do with it, and you sort of put a pencil on it, and it works out pretty well. Also, he tells return to the young people or whoever's purchasing it what the future's going to be. Property values are going up. Building costs are going up every day. 10 years from now, that property be worth, I'd probably say, I wish I had it back. You always go back and say, I'm not going to say that. But anyway, I've never been involved in something where I listed something to sell and then a person get involved in it, which Joe did, and got me more money than I asked for it. And that's very unusual at any time for someone to do that. And I had a wonderful experience, and I told you the other day, Joe, I said, if someone wants to ask a questions about someone that you've done work for, please tell them to call me. Give the number to me. I'll be glad to answer any questions they have, because it was I can't think of one negative about anything, and it all went positive right to the closing. And when you sit at a closing table downtown Orlando, and the buyer and the seller and the realtor, everyone be happy, that's good. And everyone got a good deal. I want them to make money too. And I want everyone to be involved, to have a good feeling about it. And we had that at the closing. And that means a lot. And still, I like to see that I think everyone's happy with everything that went on. So I don't have anything I can add to that, but it's all a positive. And I can never come up with anything negative. And you know, we all try to pull that apart. We all like to hear the negative, not the good stuff. That's the American way.
Yeah.